Welcome everybody to another episode of Mind Your World. My name is Ryan.
And my name is Judy.
And today we have another special video in store for you. In this week's episode, we have 7 tips on etiquette and advice when coming to Japan. So we're going to give you some quick tips on what to do if you're coming out to Japan for the first time.
Tip number 1 is a Japanese phrase that you should know when you meet a person for the first time, which is yoroshiku onegai shimasu.
Let's say that one more time. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu.
This means nice to meet you. I recommend you to remember that phrase because Japanese people will be very happy to know that you know some Japanese word. Ryan, for example, says yoroshiku onegai shimasu. My name is Ryan, and they will be like, wow, you can speak Japanese so well. And then they will start like
yeah, once you like break out one Japanese phrase, then they start speaking to you in Japanese. It's like whoa. I only know that one. Okay.
But yeah, that's a very useful phrase that you should know.
Tip number 2. Tip number 2 is when you are going to a Japanese restaurant. I mentioned this in one of the earlier videos. It's the 5 top foods you need to try in Japan. So if you haven't watched that video, check it out. Etiquette here in Japan is that you don't have to tip. That's one of the good points about eating in Japan, I think, because back home you definitely have to tip when you're eating at a restaurant. It's just a common thing to do. But in Japan, you don't have to. People out here get paid properly for their service. So if you try to leave, a tip, you may get chased down out in the streets. It never happened to me, but it's happened to some person before, whoever that person may be. They just won't accept it. So listen up, guys. You don't have to tip. Save that money.
Etiquette number 3. You can slurp at noodle shop. Why can you slurp noodles?
Why can't you?
Slurping, it means that you are actually enjoying the noodles. So you can slurp without being worried. And then if you go to noodle shop in Japan, you can hear a lot of people noise. And then it might make you a little bit upset at first, but it's normal in Japan. So
prior to coming out to Japan, slurping used to bother me. My younger brother would slurp his cereal, and it's like, listen man, I'm not trying to hear you chew, I'm not trying to hear you slurp. Cut it out, cut it out. Out here, it's just a common thing to do, and it's just like Judy said, it's to show that the chef like, oh, this food is really delicious. So although you won't hear a lot of people talking at the restaurant, you will hear a lot of slurping. So slurp on when you come to Japan. Tip number 4, when you're out here in Japan, it is socially acceptable to drink out in public. So if you're outside, you can go to all the convenience stores have alcohol there. You can in a bottle, whatever have you, but you can drink out in public. A lot of people, especially from the States, are afraid to do this because, back home in America, we get in trouble. I don't know if you knew this, but yeah, we get in trouble. But out here, it's okay. One of the things that people kind of don't do is like drink on the train so much. I mean, people do it, but it's just kind of frowned upon. Like some people just give you the stare. So usually you'll see people in like the corner like drinking, but whatever.
Recently started selling this can cover.
Really?
Yeah, that you don't have to be like upset or like worried.
Back home is just a paper bag. Put your bottle in, your can in, put it in a paper bag. Nobody can tell. And you don't have to buy it. It's just free. It's okay to be drinking out in public, and people are pretty much drinking all the time. Drinking in Japan is kind of like the culture. It's part of it. So when you come out to Japan, if you are a drinker, get ready. If you're coming out here to Japan, and depending on how long you're gonna stay for, I recommend getting a JR pass. And you may ask, what is a JR pass? I will tell you, my friend. A JR pass is a week to 2 weeks long membership pass. You apply for it about 4 to 6 weeks in advance before coming out, and pretty much you have unlimited travel using the JR line. Now the JR line is a popular train line out here in Japan, which expands from all the way from southern Japan to northern Japan. I definitely recommend it. I used it my first time coming out here. For about a week's travel, it costs about $300. But, and Judy could tell you this, traveling with the bullet train is expensive.
Very expensive. Yeah. Like for example, if you want to go to Osaka from Tokyo, you have to pay like $300 for a round trip.
Yeah, super expensive. So why just pay $300 to go to one place when you can pay $300 and go to many places? If you're definitely going to be out here for a week, 2 weeks, I'd say if you're out here for 2 weeks, definitely get it. It's worth it, and you can see a lot of Japan.
Only for foreigners.
Only, oh yeah, only for foreigners. Yeah, Judy can't get it. I can't get it because I'm living here now. But you, the viewer, you can get it.
You can get it.
Just do your Googles. Do your Googles. Yeah. Search it up, and you can find it. Save that money because it's definitely going to be an experience of a lifetime. Etiquette number 5. Cool.
It's about train. In Japan, the last train is until 12 or 1 a.m. And the first train starts at 5 a.m. It's not running 24 hours, so you should be careful about it because if you miss the last train, you either have to take a taxi or you either have to wait for the first train. And if you want to get a taxi, it's very expensive, especially in the midnight. And if you're going out for drinks and then you want to be back in the hotel, you should be careful about it. Yeah. And you have to check the last train in advance. Before you get drunk.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you go to a party or you go to a club or bar, usually people are, you know, checking like, all right, my last train's at 11, I gotta go. And then you see the hordes of people like who are just on that train because it's the last one or it's the second to last one. So it's like people are trying to get on that train to get back home because after that you are out of luck. Definitely recommend checking on that for sure.
You walked.
Yeah. Quick funny story. I did, miss my, well, I got on the train. I just got off at the wrong stop. I thought I was gonna stop at my house. And sure enough, it was the last train. I have this moral code to never take a taxi at that time again. So it was around 12 o'clock. Yeah, I was about 2 hours away from my actual house, so I just walked home like from 12, almost like 1 o'clock in the morning, back to my house, got home 3 o'clock, had to teach the next day. Not fun. Yeah,
never again.
Never. I've learned my lesson. But yeah, okay, that brings us to our last etiquette tip, and that's staying at an internet cafe. In that case, what you want to do is, if you do miss the last train, you don't want to take a taxi, there are no Ubers, stay at an internet cafe or manga cafe. Now, these are special places where you can go read some manga, or you can just be on the internet playing games, whatever have you. They have gaming systems. They also have showers, and you can sleep there or play video games if you want. I mean, have you ever stayed at one?
No.
Okay.
Have you?
I have. So when I went to Osaka with my brother, we had a late night, you know, we were planning on taking a day bus to come back to Tokyo, and we didn't have a place to stay at, so we stayed at a manga cafe, and it was cool. That was my first time, and you pay at the end when you're about to leave. It was definitely a good time for sure. You know, we just crashed. It's not the best of places. There's no pillows, there's no blankets, but it is a comfy spot to stay at, so definitely recommend it for sure. That's all the tips on etiquette and things to do before coming out to Japan. Let us know what you think. You already know where to do it in the comment section below. Before we leave, we did teach you one phrase. What was that phrase again?
よろしくお願いします.
There is also another phrase you can say along with that, which is はじめまして. We'll say it one more time. はじめまして. Yeah, now hajime mashite means
nice to meet you.
See, it's the same phrase. So now you have 2 phrases for today, so just remember that. That's all the time that we have for today. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mind Your World. Until next time, sayonara.